I remember as a student at the University of Idaho, my first 2 years of college, I was part of the crew ministry there on campus. And there was this guy in the ministry. He was a little bit older than me. I looked up to him. He was really passionate for the Lord, had a great walk with God. And he would go out on campus and just strike up conversations about the Lord with random people. And I was, somebody who had just come out of doing missions with YWAM, and what this guy was doing was more direct. We were in YWAM. We were typically doing kind of more group outreach type activities, but this guy was one-on-one, strike up conversations with people and ministering to them. I just found that so inspiring and challenging until the day that he asked if I would like to come with him. And I was scared to say yes, but too ashamed to say no, I suppose. I kind of felt like, man, I want what this guy has. And so we went out a couple of times that year. We would go out and strike up conversations about the Lord with random people, and I even had some small wins. I had a couple of decent conversations with people, some that maybe weren't so great, but some that were good. And I remember thinking, man, this is so cool. In fact, it stuck with me for years, even after I left the University of Idaho and went to the University of Northern Colorado, got involved with Chi Alpha. We didn't really do that, but I had a heart to do that. And so when years later I became a director myself, and we pioneered the Chi Alpha here at CSU, we started to re-engage in that idea of like, hey, let's be bold in our faith. Let's be people who aren't ashamed and not afraid to go out there and just pray for people or look for opportunities. And I'll be honest, even as a director, even as someone who's done ministry for years on staff, sometimes those things were scary for me too. And even to this day, I can get a little nervous, especially if I haven't done any outreach for a while. That student that's a freshman in your small group, or that maybe they're even a senior, but in any case, maybe they have never done outreach to the university, and the idea maybe scares them and excites them. When we start talking about raising people up to take on responsibility in their faith, we need to give them opportunities to kind of get their feet wet, if you will, as that old saying would go, that they need to play with responsibility. And there's a few ways that we can do that. It's like, now that we're feeding them the kingdom, we've begun to try to get them to emulate, to express the convictions of things like honoring each other and forgiveness to one another, and some of these kind of things in our community and beyond, in the lives of our guys and gals. And we've taught them how to have a personal walk with God, but now we need to teach them how to have responsibility. So it's almost like we're fighting for them again. We're fighting for them to have experiences. We're not even so much looking for them to express, although that sometimes is part of those initial experiences, but just in a low challenge, high invitational sort of way. We're looking for them just to kind of to experience that. That was a little bit of what those encounters for me with this guy at University of Idaho did. That his expression of him going out there and doing it was awesome, and me kind of just doing a little bit really began to stir something in me and birth something in me years later that we're continuing to use and utilize as we try to impact our campus. And so as you've got these small group guys and gals that you are like, hey, maybe you're thinking like, hey, I'm really thinking about maybe inviting this person into leadership. We want to give them opportunity to just get their feet wet in responsibility, and oftentimes outreach is one of the best ways to do that. And so whether that's doing a missions trip, really encouraging them to do a missions trip, or whether that's like going out at the end of the fall semester and just, going and praying for people as kind of your one-on-one time, or striking up conversations about the Lord. Like, give them opportunities to experience reaching their world, so that when we get to the conversation about, hey, would you like to be on leadership, and really begin to practice and grow in these convictions, they have the heart and the desire because they've played with that idea already through your discipleship and in your small group community.